Ajoyeboa. Good morning.
Yes, Ajoyeboa. My name has changed apparently, thanks to Ajoyeboa Clothing. For this beautiful top. You love it, right?
Yeah, I love it.
Okay, so
love it for a Friday.
Shout out to S Nash for my hair.
Yeah.
And Ajoyeboa.
S Nash. S Nash.
S Nash.
Was it for free? We keep doing a shout out.
Auntie Sarah is my paddy.
But I love the hair.
You know, businesses grow when friends and families, I'm sure you've seen that, pay for services.
It's true. And
products. That's the only way they grow. You know, they can give you discounts, but you've got to pay something.
Yeah, at least Couture gives me discounts, so it's okay.
You pay, right?
You have to pay because her business has to run.
Of course, yeah.
And so for a woman,
once we have that understanding,
for a woman or a lady who is sewing men's clothing, it's not easy. You know, the men or customers who are men expect a man to sew for them. So a woman, it means that, well, it's admirable, but they may have doubts until. So
but sometimes
we just support some of these things to make sure that businesses grow.
Local businesses, they've got to grow. And the only way we can make it grow is by contributing. So when I showcase my dress or my hair, please patronize. Like, look for Ajoyeboa Clothing on Facebook, Instagram. She's got loads of pictures, and you can get in touch like that. And S Nash, I'm going to share her number later on in the show.
All right.
Now let's do the newspapers, or you have some shout outs? We have to know. You don't. Let's do the graphic.
I do.
The Daily Graphic newspaper, front page of the graphic. President Akufo-Addo begins tour of Eastern region. Police, immigration officers clash over suspected immigration offenders. Very bizarre, like one of those unbelievable stories. But yeah. Church of Pentecost Zoom Lion launch clean up campaign. Student loan delays, but Loan Trust Fund assures payment month end. There's a photograph of Nana Kweku Eje Yeboah, Chief Executive Officer of the Student Loan Trust Fund. Back page of the paper, it's make or break for Black Queens. Charlie, this is tough. And it's this afternoon. They will face their moment of truth against an improving, the paper says, Cameroonian side in a crucial Group A encounter whose outcome could decide the host's fate in the Total Women's Africa Cup of Nations tournaments.
That's a tough one.
Deputy Minister charges Queens to beat Cameroon. It's not Togo. It is
it's what happens on the field.
Center spread of the paper. 300 nabbed in multinational border security operation. University of Environment and Sustainable Development won't be relocated, President says, as he begins Eastern Region tour. It's become one of the controversial matters. Details of that in the center spread of the Daily Graphic newspaper. Roland will do what? The Daily Guide?
No, I'll do the Ghanaian Times. It has on the front page, it's done deal. Controversy over siting of the University of Environmental and Sustainable Development. President confirms university stay in Somania. Zoom Lion Church of Pentecost launched $10 million environmental campaign. The story is on page 17 of the paper. President Ghanaians Monch Manting Ejako. And on the back page, Black Queens psyched up for Cameroon contest. It's not going to be easy.
Nope.
We have Cameroon's indomitable lioness, Charlene Menene. And before then, we have Sherifatu Suleiman, a goal scorer, usually scores for Ghana, of the Black Queens. So that's a good one. The police arrest man, 43, for illegal demolition in Section Rioso. All right, let me just do the Daily Guide newspaper. On the front page of the Daily Guide newspaper, we have tears flow for Ejako. May he so rest in peace. And we'll have the 1 week right here on the show as well. We'll tell you the latest on what the preparations are. You have the widow, Lydia Ejako, also there. Sad. It was a regular on the show, so it was family. Akufo-Addo jabs NDC over crate, loot and share and peddling falsehood. Men's Gold finally pays customers. Police attack immigration officers over illegal immigrants.
Have you been paid?
I thought today is Black Friday.
Have you been paid? No. Let's do the Finder newspaper. Front page of the Finder. Ashanti, the most corrupt in health, education sectors, according to the Ghana Integrity Initiative.
Hey, avoid temptation.
Okay, wait. I attributed this to
Men's good. Men's good. Bekunipo.
Yes, Ghana Integrity Initiative.
It's a Bank of Ghana officials crack out. So we are not alone.
I haven't mentioned men's gold. That's a very simple question, and you're going on and on and on. Let's go back to the Finder, front page of the Finder. Ejako was a strong pillar of our party, according to the president. And I listened to his brother yesterday, Boachi Ejako, you know, telling us exactly what happened to his brother. And I thought that that would get people to shut down on all other speculations on necessary things. Too many speculations. He you know, he laid it all right there. And I was like, yeah, that's transparency, like everything out there. And this was when the delegation from Parliament paid a visit to their home yesterday. All right, Church of Pentecost partners Zoom line to clean Ghana. Government pledges to scrutinize performance of key state-owned enterprises. NPA to begin cylinder circulation model pilot in Kumasi. You know, the point is when something happens, that's when, you know, we respond. I don't know, maybe this was in the pipeline already, but what a coincidence, right after that explosion happening in Kumasi. So that's it. Stories making front page headline, the Finder newspaper. Let's follow that up with the Ghanaian Observer. Front page of the Observer, ignore NDC propaganda. Kufuado says University of Environment will remain in Somanya. Osei Amayal shines at the NLA. President Kufuado Baumia Kufo Mon Ejako. Doomso not back, according to Gridco. Again, you can say it, but when people are not experiencing consistency and predictability, it really doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah, you know, sometimes this whole thing about what we experience, and yesterday in Tema, it happened again in my area too. But, you know, it's not every part of Accra. So when you're saying it's like you don't get the mass, I think that they just need to.
But we shouldn't wait. We shouldn't wait for everybody to be singing the same kind of tune.
You know, it looks like happens in certain areas more than some others.
Yeah. President inspects one district, one factory project in Esojaman. And boy, did we see the school children line up? Did we?
I didn't check.
Maybe not. Back page of the paper. Drogba announces retirement. Well, he actually doesn't know what he's going to do. So was it yesterday? I was listening to the BBC and they said people should text in and make suggestions as to what Didier Drogba could do.
He can do many things. He can go into football. He can do football administration. Yes. I don't think he should do coaching because he doesn't have the temperament for coaching.
Somebody said he could do mentoring, which I thought,
and many
a peace ambassador and mentor.
And many of the black coaches who have played professional football and who want to coach in Europe, they've not been, I won't say they are not good, they've not been given the opportunity, like...
When you say black players, are you talking about African players? Because we've got...
Both.
Thierry Henry, with his first challenge, and it's not been some way.
I know. So, but I think that one day we'll get an exceptionally former professional player who is very good at the coaching of the game. So, we'll see how that goes. Because you know, before you are given the opportunity, you need to get it right the first time. If you get it right the first time, like if Henry, after doing the punditry and talking about Jose Mourinho and all that,
even after going to the World Cup,
so if he got it right at Monaco, I mean, everybody will say he's the man who has come to the party.
But we know coaching, sometimes you can go to a club and perform very poorly, but as soon as you go to another, you know...
No, usually those who start it right, those who are good, they start it right. Yeah, you see that thing. If they will take a poor team, and Monaco is not a poor team because they are very good players. So,
okay, there's also Jordan. Are you saying that playing for your country is different from club? Deportivo, Roland, you have to help. Alaves?
Alaves.
Okay, to sell Mubarak Wakaso in January. Okay. That's also another story down the back page of the paper. So that's it for the Observer. Let's do the Statement, and then Roland will finish off with the Daily Dispatch. The Daily Statesman: President laments loss of Ejako, quote-unquote, pillar of NPP. Rearing for food and jobs takes off in 2019. So we started off with planting. Now we're going to be rearing, apparently.
I love that.
Okay.
I wish that the camera was seeing your hand. We started with planting.
No more crates, loot and share. Akufo-Addo says NDC corruption is dead in Ghana. Well, we want to hear the courts. We want to hear the courts. Because this thing, create, loot and share, came from that.
Yeah. What's the meaning of that?
Create, loot and share.
That they created some schemes and
what's the name of the justice again? Oh, I'll try.
Doche.
Was it just Doche?
He said it.
So please go and ask him.
It was an infamous.
He would explain it to you.
No, but
I think sometimes the judges just look at some of the things that happen and it's unbelievable. Like they can't believe their eyes.
I know, but you know the politicians go so smart. We have the procurement laws and they go through the processes in such a way. Yeah. So you know, NDC left. Nothing. Kufuor's government, you know, they were all the talk about. They took, I remember, I have a couple of friends. The former deputy foreign affairs became foreign affairs minister. Akwesi Eje was taken to court. Stephen Asamoah Boateng. You know all those people. Oh. And now the MPP too is having a hard time getting any of them because, you know, sometimes you can find that this is pizza and you feel there's cheese in it, but you don't. You get to see it and you don't know whether there's cheese in it. And that was the thing, you see. And so they go through the processes, but you know that this thing has been overvalued or something, but you can't get it, you can't get a prosecution. Yeah. And so that is why I believe the politicians, when they are making the utterances, for us to believe that there is an intention of something untoward happening, they need to be sure of it, that they'll get an outcome to satisfy the citizenry. And also back the words that they said on the campaign. Yeah. Because 2 years into the administration, we needed people to be lined up in the courts. The magnitude and, you know, sometimes words can create, personify things and exaggerate. And so when you create a picture, you have to match it with the action. So far, the action is zero. And that is a liability on the head of the Akufo-Addo administration. So
I say no more create, loot and share.
What does
we want to hear from the courts. JDM to pick running mates from Volta. There's Ken Jirasa coming along with a headline. Not sure what that connection means. But that's it. There you have it. What's making front page news. That's the Daily Statesman newspaper. We will want to finish up with the Daily Dispatch newspaper. Roland?
Yeah, so we look at the last paper. The Daily Dispatch newspaper has on the front page Ken Ofori-Attah's warning. Government will not bail out greedy men's gold customers. And Ken Ofori-Attah, I love the man. He's a very soft-spoken man. So he's a man of many words too. A great gentleman. And he says that even Bank of Ghana workers, staff, are customers of men's gold. And added that his own staff at Ministry of Finance were customers. Mama V, it's okay.
I have said nothing. Can't a girl smile?
Other stories on the front page of the Dispatch. Catholic bishops on political vigilantism, cry of the poor and corruption. Zoom Lion and Church of Pentecost launch campaign for a clean Ghana. Yeah, we should back the action as we speak. Okay, Abu Sakara endorses creation of additional regions, I should say. And there's a story about police, immigration. It's on the front page of the Publisher. If you have the Publisher, you can put it on there. The Publisher says, police, immigration clash over Sakawa boys. 2 suspects freed. And this is the story. The immigration officers seem to have arrested, I don't know, because I think they were foreigners. They engaged in Sakawa, you know, internet fraud, and the police came in and released them. There's already a story that we are going to tell you in the next few days. The police seem to be doing great things, you know, just leaving suspects. We won't investigate the thing, we'll not leave them. All right.
Okay, so this story, the police immigration officers clashing over suspected immigration offenders. It's in the Daily Graphic newspaper. That's the story. There's a video going round. Some armed policemen and immigration officers engaged in a confrontation at Sakaman Junction in Accra last Wednesday following a misunderstanding over the custody of 4 Nigerians they had arrested for alleged immigration offences. The policemen from the Odoko district are reported to have attacked and bullied 4 immigration officers to release the suspect to them. The 4 suspects had been arrested at McCarthy Hill on suspicion of residing in Ghana illegally and allegedly engaged in criminal activities, including cyber fraud. And this issue, this is not all the story. In fact, it's a lot. The whole background and where we are with it, the police version. But just a little summary. This issue has brought back the question of what kind of collaboration goes on with our security agencies. At least we know they all report to one body, the Ministry of Interior. And if immigration is undertaking an exercise, which in this case, it looks like that's what happened. But somebody, we're told, called the police to tell them that some military, initially, the report the police said they got, the distress call was that some military people were attacking them. So when they got to the place, they realized, well, they were wearing immigration uniform, but they wanted them to identify themselves. According to the police accounts, the officers, as in the immigration officers, would not readily give them any form of identification. So, you know, they said they had to chase them because they said they were going to the district assembly. Yeah, that's it. But, you know, bottom line, these are 2 security agencies who normally will work together. We've seen them work together on so many occasions. Election time, when we are doing galamsey or whatever. But so if you're doing one operation and another one comes in, I don't know how. But the immigration accounts also says that. So essentially it's like the police people came for the suspects that we were chasing. You get it? Suspect that we had gotten. Suspects who were illegally residing in Ghana. Exactly. So it's some kululubi, something be not on.
And you know, the immigration officers, they have oversight over foreigners who will be operating, whether they have permits and what kind of activity. Because you can't go to the UK and go and do anything. Or the border patrol will be on you.
Yeah. So I've heard security analyst Dr. Kwesi Enin say that all the people involved in this scuffle should be punished. All right, that's a story down there, still on page 16 of the Daily Graphic. This story that says that the Ghana Education Service has descended heavily on 10 of its staff for their involvement in sexual misconduct, immoral relations, and stealing. The infamous kitchen stool, you remember?
Yeah.
Head teacher of the Edumendu DA Basic School in the Central Region, Robert Sepe, is among 5 others who have had their appointment terminated for sexual misconduct. The rest are Vincent Niama Otu of St. Francis Senior High School in Akimoda, Kester Ansajan of Binkum Senior High, Late Kriapem, James Enum Ajite of Ekumanin Yuges Basic School, Bright Akpalu of Akwitia Presby JHS in Akwitia, William Akompong of Nyankomase SHS in Asin Nyankomase. A statement signed and issued by the head of the public relations unit of the service, Cassandra Chumampofo, in Accra yesterday, explained that a 7th teacher of the United Basic School in Tumu in Upper West, who was sanctioned for defilement, was dismissed after a law court convicted him of the acts. 3 other staff of the GS, all non-teaching, had also been dismissed after they were found guilty by the court for stealing. So there's a lot more to the story. You can read it. It's on page 16, the Daily Graphic newspaper. 10 GS staff dismissed for stealing and sexual offenses. Last one, just briefly on page 3, still in the Daily Graphic. More than 32,000 continuing students who applied for student loans to cushion them financially for the 2018-2019 academic year are yet to receive their money from the Student Loan Trust Fund 3 months into the academic year. And the academic year is almost coming to an end. And a number of the students of the Accra Technical University and the University of Ghana who spoke to the Daily Graphic on condition of anonymity, said they had been waiting for the money to meet some of their needs, but they were yet to receive it. In the face of the challenges, the Trust's fund is yet to accept new applications from students. Okay, so that's it.
Yeah, and I wanted to comment on the student loan trust fund. And the thing is, just like the policy guideline, if there is at all, for how we tend to invest our pension funds, we seem also to have not gotten it right with the student trust fund. Because if you look at what happens, especially in America, there's a certain linkage with data and where they can find you. To also,
so you're talking about repayments?
Yes, and because that's the thrust of the story. And then also availability of jobs. So if the student loan trust fund gave loans to students who ultimately perhaps after graduation left the shores of our country, it means they wouldn't be contributing. Maybe they'll be part of the number of people who still haven't contributed. Two, we don't have meaningful jobs for which people can survive and pay. So if somebody is doing his own work, that's another problem, and he's not paying SNITs or contributing to SNITs, that's another problem. And more so, if people don't have the job themselves, that is, they are unemployed, is a big problem. So you can find that in the long term, the sustainability of the fund will have to be linked to the availability of jobs. Our ability to be able to track who is where, what they are doing, and how they can get money back into the scheme.
Yeah.
Because if we don't know where they are, what they are doing, we can't call them and say, look, come and pay.
But I thought they would usually take it from those who guarantee.
Well, they don't do it automatically. Okay, for those who guarantee it. Yes. Yes.
Because I've heard stories of people.
Oh yes, many of them. Yes.
Who go on retirement
and then they have
and then they have to take it because Roland, I guaranteed for you.
But it's run into some difficulties. It ran into some difficulties. So they increased the numbers, and then people also were unwilling to guarantee for students because of that. So I think that.
But was it 2 years ago? They were virtually, like they were coming at you to take the loan.
The students?
No, the fund.
Yes, true. They were, because I went voluntarily to go and retire my contribution or my loan, my student loan that I took back in the day. But I had to do it voluntary at the time. It was a long time ago, around 10 years.
Sometimes, and I've said that in the past, that I feel that because when you don't pay, there's interest that is accrued, like regularly.
Because right now it's a
why do I have a feeling that sometimes they know they could do something, but they just want the interest to build up?
I don't think so. It's because they can't trace the people.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's a big problem.
Because most of the people, I know somebody who had to also pay, but he was a regular contributor to SNITs, even as he was working. And until he personally went there to say, I want you to use some of my money to
Because they didn't have that automatic system in which maybe they scan through the data and said.
So I think they may not even have correct data, because you should.
No, they do. Really? They do, but I don't think.
So I'm owing you and I'm contributing and I'm working.
There's no inherent verification process in the data. So you and I collected, but I remember in my case,
we're
I
both
had to
working.
go.
Yeah, I know people who've had to go.
But it was not. It should have been automatic. Once my name has popped up, I've started working and contributing. The system should be able to generate some data and track.
Yeah, that's
and
why
to
I
verify
feel
that this is the one who collected, because we could have many Roland workers, but once the data, the background data or the back end data fits the one who collected the student loan, then you should be able to verify and then start doing
my point is that if you also don't even want the system to do that automatically, because two people may look alike, may have
the same date of birth.
Not the same, because SNITs, the unique thing is your date of birth, which never changes, which is never supposed to change.
But people can have the same name and the same date of birth. But they were even taking thumbprints and things at the time.
But
I don't know what happened to all that.
I feel that data should lead them to make a follow-up.
Yes, ideally.
if the system won't do it automatically,
ideally,
that information should lead them to follow
because
instead of wait for the
yes,
thing to build up.
yes, because people had finished school 10 years and they get to find out, oh, apparently the loan that I took in going through KNUST or some other school, I needed to come and pay back. And maybe they were, and if they look at the quantum that they had to pay, I think it was also a big problem. But you still have to use your contribution anyway, and I think that's something that we should encourage.
Any stories that you want to do?
Oh, it's just about the men's gold, and I think government should take.
Do you want me to read the story for you?
Yeah, I think government should take a critical and then try to salvage.
What should government do?
Oh, government, DKM, government should try and see at least anya half be there.
Really?
Because
when you were getting your 20% interest, were you sharing with anybody? Okay, let me just stick to the story. Story picked from myjoyonline.com.
No, the difficulty is that some people have experiences. They were not part of the round robin people, as in the 12-month cycle people. So they have not. Some just entered a month or two, and then the thing.
What attracted you to enter 1 month, 2 months?
Right? I'm not talking about talking. People.
Yeah, I'm also asking generally. I'm just saying.
The thing was running.
It was the interest, right?
Yeah, it was running. Yeah. So
how about those who,
if somebody joined a month or two and then the thing just
okay,
collapsed.
so back page of the Daily Dispatch, story picked from myjoyonline.com.
You don't think government should do something about it?
Says Finance Minister. Wait, this is government speaking. Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta has stressed government has no intention of bailing out customers of Billiget investment company Men's Gold. Quotes, unquotes, yeah? It is not in the place of government to refund or get your money for you, he said, and indicated at a third capital market conference in Accra that doing so would be bailing out greed. The comment is the strongest indication yet shown by government following growing calls by some customers for compensation from government if Men's Gold fails to refund investments. That's government position. You did hear?
I did hear.
Okay. Okay, so this is the point. He added more, yeah? I see some people at the finance ministry who have invested there. I look at the Bank of Ghana and I see some people who have invested there. So it becomes an issue of greed.
Is that what he said?
The
finance minister
quotes,
said.
Quotes.
Finance minister.
The
I thought government is supposed to empathize with citizens.
I beg. The minister explained the profile of Men's Gold customers shows financially literate people who ought to know that the gold dealership firm is, quote unquote, an obvious trap. He pointed out that the red flags are obvious because Men's Gold cannot sustainably promise to pay 10% monthly returns on gold collectibles when returns on the international market ranges between 2 to 3%. Ken Ofori-Atta applauded the effort of the Securities and Exchange Commission for coming down, quote and unquote, hard and strong and justifiably on Men's Gold. Oh, there's a former Minerals Commission Chief Executive, Tony Obeng, who's revealed there will be a national funeral if Men's Gold collapses along with clients' monies. Maybe the biggest funeral will happen in my hometown, Takwa. Tony Obeng said, and revealed top government officials and businessmen, top military officers, and former mine workers have sunk huge monies into Men's Gold. You asked me to read, so I have read. I told you
so
about
that's the position of government. Ayaka. It's serious though.
No, but you said something. There was maybe let's go to myjoyonline.com because you read something that says that some of the customers are being paid, right? Or they've been paid. Or where was the story? Where did you see the story? You read something, Roland.
I think
check out the.
So it was in the Dispatch. Yeah?
Was it?
Or Daily Guide. I think Daily Guide. Yeah. Men's Gold finally pays.
Yeah.
Intro.
So not all hope is lost.
It's not true.
Let's go to myjoyonline.com.
Let's go to myjoyonline.com. Hey,
sorry, it's not like I'm excited because of some people's misfortune. No malice in the laughter and the smiles.
Mama, God will punish you.
Let's go to myjoyonline.com. Here we go, Roland.
Hey, Mama, read it.
Government to get $35 million World Bank cash to scale up land administration services. NPA to pilot cylinder recirculation module in Kumasi. There's a video, not bad to retain marketable Mahama for 2020. So a video of Ofuswam Pofu, the chairman of the MDC, making this comment. Western region to host 5th National Policy Summit on December 9. The multimedia group recognized for promoting corporate governance. NPP flags at half-mast for late MP Emmanuel Ejako. Ghosts of murdered FSCO students, Roland.
If you just say secondary commercial
leads suspect to police. So this is the student who went out to watch football and got killed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doctor turns taxi driver in Ho.
This story.
GS sacks 11 staff for sexual misconduct stealing. We shared details with you. Lots of stories on myjoyonline.com that you can check out. Okay, it's 7. We have to make way for sports. I don't know whether we have to pray or if it's a tactical change in the Queen's play today, but somehow we need a miracle because we have to survive Cameroon. And even before the beginning of the tournaments, there were talks. Cameroon is like the strongest. And I wonder if we look at the games they've played already and how they've hammered people, I wonder what will happen today. But we still have a lot of hope in our Queens. So we're not giving up yet. We've got to win that game against Cameroon. Benedict will tell us how and what is new in our camp, if there is anything new. But after that, we talk about the All Africa Music Awards. We wanted this to come to Ghana for the very first time, to host this. Nigeria, they've hosted on so many occasions. Now we've done it. It's like the Grammys, yeah? This is the biggest musical concert and awards in Africa. And it's come to Ghana. This is like our Africa. But the vibe is not there. There was a concert, a free concert yesterday at the Independence Square. I wonder how many of you even heard about it, how many of you knew about it. But we've got the awards itself coming up tomorrow. We've got so many international artists in Ghana, and we will talk about how we are taking advantage of this and what this hosting the All Africa Music Awards mean to us. The low publicity and the drive and the vibe, all of that. And we're linking that to the bigger picture of branding Ghana. And we will talk about that with some great guests. We've got Francis Doku in the studio. He's the Ghana rep for AFRIMA. He's also on the committee for Ghana, as in the committee that is hosting AFRIMA in Ghana. We've got Clarence Amwate. He's an advertiser. He's got specialty in brands. And then we've got our own Prince Sugar with Hits FM joining us for that conversation right after sport. So you've got to stay with us all through and through. Roverman Anklebo White also has a new play, and you will love the title of it. We will talk about that also in our show today. So stay with us. Selwyn Benedict coming up with some sports.